What's up, everybody? It's your girl Shar, and I just want to thank you for tuning in to the Surviving Your 20s podcast. I'm so excited that you decided to join me back for week 2. I got a lot of love from the first week of my podcast. You guys left great comments for me. You guys encouraged me, gave me amazing feedback, shared and liked, and I appreciate all of that. And that's one of the reasons why I was able to hit my follower goal of 10K before 2022. Like, I was sitting here talking to my friend Alana, and she was sharing with me some of her goals, and I was sharing with her some of my goals, and I was like, yeah, in June 2022 I'll be sure to have 10K. But lo and behold, God did his thing, and so I'm so grateful to God, and I'm grateful for you guys for always showing me support, love on any content that I post, and I'm just happy to be here. Today, I have a great episode planned for you guys. I'm in a more mellow mood and a more mellow tone. Because actually I was feeling like not recording this episode. Can we just be honest? Like, sometimes you get up, you set up lights, you set up cameras, and then you're like, what am I actually doing? Am I even qualified to have a seat at this table to speak to women about their life when sometimes mine is falling apart? Sometimes you don't have all the answers. Sometimes you're feeling crazy. Sometimes you're feeling low and not worthy. And it's like, do I really want to be here today? And so it took a lot for me to show up. I actually was like having anxiety about being a perfectionist. And I'll talk about that a little later or in a future episode, but also dealing with imposter syndrome, thinking that I am not worthy to sit at a table and speak to you guys, or I am not deserving of this. And so sometimes those thoughts cross my mind, but then I remember why I'm doing it. I remember who I'm showing up for and the greater goal of this podcast and of this community and of this sisterhood. So whether or not I'm feeling like myself, I'm going to show up because I am not perfect. I'm just trying. And honestly, I believe that even through this experience, you guys can learn like, hey, I'm not feeling good right now. But it's okay. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the best that I can. And that's really what matters. But to be honest with you guys, I had an amazing week. I started off my week in church and I went to 9 o'clock service. I usually go to both services because, like I said before, I live out the state. So I be in church. I love church. I love my church. And it was amazing. The way God moved and everything like that. So after church, I had a video shoot with one of my clients and it was amazing. It was for her Christmas content and I was just like, yes. Okay. If you guys don't know, I hold a camera in my hand 99% of the time. When I eat, when I sleep, when I bathe, every day I have the camera in my hand. All right, maybe not every day, but most days I'm trying to figure out my camera so I can make content. Matter of fact, I already got it figured out because look, one, two. I got two angles, baby. Okay. Um, yeah, so if you guys didn't know, that's what I do. I help people create better content, and that's what I like to do. I'm also in school for film and I'm minoring in marketing. And so that is what your girl is trying to do. That is what she is doing. That is what she is being. So I don't know if I told that to you guys, but I'm going to share it again. Okay. It's been a long journey with school. So I'm super happy to share that journey with you on an upcoming podcast. On Monday, I was actually grinding it out and doing a lot of work as it relates to my business and trying to get reels done and figure out and also celebrate because sometimes you have to celebrate yourself. And I feel like sometimes we just go on and on and on and we don't even recognize the little things that we do. Um, and we play them down as if they're average, but in reality, any step forward is a good step. It should be counted and it should be celebrated. And so I went to the 99-cent store, y'all, and I got my balloons, and I got my one and my zero, and they didn't have any letters, but that was symbolizing 10K, and I felt really good. They're actually still up in my house, and I plan on sucking the helium out of it, and doing that little chipmunk voice. That's what's gonna make me happy right now. And also a caramel frappe. So if my man is listening, hopefully I could get one. But truthfully, guys, your 20s can be really crazy and a mess. Like I mentioned, I didn't even feel like showing up today. And more times than ever, you have to make sure that you're living a life that is consistent. And that's why I'm here today, because I was like, yo, if I said to them that a podcast is dropping every Wednesday and I don't come, then I'm not really being the grown adult that I claim to be, right? So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about evaluating where you are. I believe that a lot of us don't realize that we have different cards. Like, we were dealt different cards in life. Some people were born rich, some people were born middle class, some people were born poor, some people were born dirt poor. Okay. And we're not in control of that. Two people laid down, got busy, and we here. We didn't ask to be here. We didn't say, okay, I volunteer. I'm going to be the first one out, and I'm going to race to the egg and punch everybody else so I could be in this thing called life and earth and breathe and live and do all these crazy things. No, we didn't ask to be here. So in reality, we didn't ask, we didn't choose our parents, we didn't choose our grandparents, we didn't choose our family members. So we just woke up one day and we were here. And so we were learning customs and ways of life. Our religion is based on who we are connected to, the way we think. It's all because of how we grew up. And honestly, in your 20s, this is the first time from 18 on, and whenever you get that moment to actually be an adult, this is the first time that you get to choose. I believe that many of us are walking around with the principles that, maybe our father or mother gave us, our grandmother. And we're walking around with that as gold. And some of those habits need to be dropped off. So, what I'm here to do really is to tell you and teach you how to evaluate your life. I know that it's sometimes hard for us to do a self-evaluation because we don't want to dig up the dirty, the ugly, the messy pieces of us, the pieces of us that we just push to the side. We don't even tell nobody. It's like a skeleton in your closet and you don't want it to come out. And I feel like, let me give you a story. There was a time when I was just not happy. I was going on like I was happy. I was going on like I was, I had the best life. Even my husband was like, yo, like she's spoiled. And I'm like, how he think I'm spoiled? Because I was far from spoiled, y'all. I was not spoiled. I was working since I was 15. I don't know who told y'all otherwise. I was working at McDonald's, okay? Flipping burgers. All right. I was not spoiled at all. Yeah, so people probably thought that I was living a posh life, but in reality, I wasn't. I wasn't happy. I was doing things outside of my comfort zone. I was literally just trying to survive. But in the midst of me trying to survive, I caught up with people who had a better head start than me. So, for example, someone who didn't have to work at 15 or someone who really didn't have any struggles. And guess what? That was not my portion. I feel like connecting with the wrong people and not evaluating the cards that you were dealt could literally harm you in your 20s. You have to sit here and say, my parents were X, Y, and Z. So here's the thing. Take a look around. Are you lacking stability? That is a question that you absolutely have to ask yourself. Are you lacking stability? At 18, do you have your parents as a crutch? These are questions that you need to ask yourself. Am I able to go to them when things go wrong? Am I able to still work a job and spend my money? And then even if I have $0, I can ask my parents for money. So last week I told you guys to journal and share some of the things that make you happy, some of the things that make you sad, some of the things that irritate you, some of the things that are bringing you great peace and joy and happiness. And honestly, I hope you guys did the evaluation, because in this episode, we're getting a little deeper. I want you to take a look around. Look around, look around, look around. Take a look at where you are. Are you lacking stability? Are you lacking stability in your family members, your people around you? Do you have a support system? I believe that some of us are not taking into consideration where we are. Now, if you're someone who is fortunate enough to have your father, your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your brother, your older cousins, and these people around you that can really help you and guide you through life, then you should hold your hands up to Jesus and say, "Thank you, God." Because that is a great blessing. That if you have someone that can mentor you and guide you and say, "Hey, this is what you do and this is what you don't do." Remember what I said in the last episode, that you should submit. Remember when I said that? Yeah, submit. And so you submitted to them and they've guided you thus far, and you're pretty satisfied with where you are. I'm not saying that they can push you to your farthest potential, but really and truly, you don't got to be flipping burgers at 15, and you don't have to be working late hours or anything like that, because literally you work because you want to work. You don't work because you have to. Now, on the flip side, you have some people who literally get up and their mindset is like, I don't have stability, so I have to make stability and I have to do this and try to keep up and everything like that. But honestly, you don't have the same privileges as person A. Person B, if you look around and you realize, like, I don't have that crutch that Shar is talking about, or I don't have people around me really who I can lean on as of now. Because I'm not saying that people won't come. I'm just saying based on the family structure and what you have presently. If you look around, you should not waste your time with person A. And here, don't beat me up. Don't get crazy. All I'm saying is you should not hold yourself to person's A standard, because they have room to mess up. They have room to get crazy and mess up, because they have their parents, family members, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, auntie, all those people who will pick it up for them if pre-adventure something will happen. Now, if you, for example, were to hang out with person A, go to the club, turn up, smoke a spliff, get lit, get the Henny Casamigos and all that good stuff, and then you spent your money balling out, they spent their money balling out, they're going home to stability, and you're going home and you don't got a MetroCard for tomorrow. That right there should let you know that you have to work a little bit harder. I'm not saying that it's your fault. But to survive your 20s, you literally have to look around and evaluate who you're hanging around. I was a person that was hanging around person A's. Not saying that I didn't have great stability, but child, listen, it wasn't all that turned up, okay, on my side of the fence. And I'm not ashamed to say that. It's nobody to blame or nobody to do to really pinpoint and point out. But what I'm saying to you is my family is super small, so I didn't have auntie, uncle, cousin, and everybody to reach out to. Granted, my family is big. I just don't know them. Let me be honest with them. I don't know them like that, and that's okay too. I wasn't at grandma's house and them things, because that's not my story, and I'm not mad at it either. But when I look around, I might come off a little bit more selfish because I really don't have time to waste. Ooh, that was a little harsh, but it was a gem. I don't have time to waste. You have 3 people ready to give you $500. God forbid something happened. I listen. I don't got time to waste. And so if you're someone who is lacking stability, you really have to hone in on focusing on what matters to you. Like I said, if you're stable, be grateful. If you're someone like me, you have to outsource. You have to go on YouTube. You have to find a mentor, whether that be in school. If it's a family member that you know is really tight and solid, you have to outsource. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that, God is going to come down from heaven, visit in your bedroom, flap three angels, slap you, and then you're going to get some knowledge. No, it's not. That's not how it is. You have to search for those people like, oh my God, I want to be like her. I want to be like her. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually ask this person to mentor me. And honestly, you have to be a little bit more careful with your time, your energy, who is influencing you, because literally this is how you're going to shape who you become in the future. So you didn't have that option. You didn't have that option to be around people who probably have ambition or, are super, super, super forward think who are super, how would I say it, Carrot? Progressive? Yeah. So you didn't have the great opportunity to be around people who are progressive and who think about the future. You probably just didn't have that luck. But I'm here to say also that God will turn your mess and make it into a message. Now, I'm saying this because honestly, this was kind of my portion, but that's why I'm trying to help you. Nobody told me to outsource and go on YouTube and read and do these things. So I'm telling you, listen to a podcast about self-improvement, self-development, read books on how to become successful in life, how to take control of my mind, how to not react to certain situations in a certain manner. And this is not to say that your family was toxic, but sometimes your family is just not up to par with the times. And it's no shade. It's just facts. Now, another thing I would say, y'all, is no matter where you are, try to learn a skill. So if you are person B, try to learn a skill. Try to learn something that will enhance your life and bring you to another level, because it's all about leveling up, baby. It's all about being the best version of yourself. So you have to find a skill. Even if you don't stick with it, you'll be grateful that you weren't wasting your time doing absolutely nothing, because there are person A, or who's extremely rich, or C, who's like middle class, and then there's you in the middle who is like poor. I know I did that out of order, but just work with me here. Y'all get what I'm saying? But try to learn a skill, because say Johnny, let me not use a boy name because this is for the ladies. Say Alyssa has great parents, put her in piano school. She learned how to sing. She's a singer, so she can sing as well. And she's been taking lessons, and she's thriving and flourishing. She has a tutor who helps her with her homework. And then there's you, who you're also smart, but you don't have access to a tutor. You're not doing piano lessons. You're not singing. You're not doing any of that. Now, Alyssa has a better chance of progressing because her parents are literally guiding her, her family member, whoever it is, brother, sister, whoever put her in these programs, they're literally helping her get to the next level. Whereas you're trying to figure it out on your own. So you're going to make more mistakes. You probably won't get the right technique down. You're probably just going to go in and crash and burn and not be too happy about that. And then it's going to be, woe is me. Life is unfair. So that's what I'm saying. And in order for you to not have that life is unfair moment, you have to take heed to what I'm saying. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is cut off those friends who want you to live above your means. Now, I'm good for a good cut. I could cut people off real quick. And if I don't cut you off, I have you in my head, like in a category, like, okay, I am not doing X, Y, and Z with you, because either it sounds really harsh, but I'm not living above my means for nobody. Nobody. I was about to say nobody greater. Nobody. Who can make me live above my means? Nobody. That's the perfect song. cut them off or place them in a category. Like, I'm not going to be going out with a friend who has a 6-figure, 7-figure job, and she's like, oh, let's link and drink, and you don't have it. Where are you going, baby? Oh, let's go out to this fancy restaurant. So you just spent half your rent trying to show your friend that you can hang to go to a fancy restaurant. Boo hoo. And then when the landlord come knocking on your bill on your door for the bills, what you gonna say, baby? This is where you have to take control over your life. In your 20s, it's easy for you to get caught up in the lifestyle, especially in this day and age of social media and going around and putting up this fakery like, I got it. Why everybody come on the internet and act like they got it? Sometimes, listen, I straight up will tell people, like, I'm working on myself. I don't got it. Like, I could have it and not have it because I'm working on myself. I don't have it. I'm not going nowhere. Simple. And I'm not gonna put up this show just so I could take a picture on Instagram and boomerang it and be like, jealous of the food. Like, food. Let me tell you something about my husband. And this is why I'm grateful for Caribbean men. The way I value food and the way my husband values food is two different things. All right. So if you guys don't know, my husband is from Jamaica. And I was telling him the other day, like, I was so shocked because, rest in peace to his father, I went to his father's funeral, and his mom, I was like, okay, they're going to get chicken. I heard them telling, like, they're going to get chicken. So I'm like, okay, they're going to get chicken and goat and what else? Carrot and cow, beef. Listen. So I'm like, all right, they're going to go to the market. They pull up and it's a farm. I was like, oh, this is bougie. Like, they got real chickens. Like, they killed the chicken right then and there. No preservatives, no nothing. And I was just sitting there like, this is why you don't take food seriously. Meanwhile, let me tell y'all, because I'm going to go in on the Red Lobster biscuits and stuff like that, because y'all really, you cannot hold food to that high of a standard. But that's my point. Like, people would sit there and make a restaurant, like, just because you're going to a restaurant, it is of high value, when in reality, not to put his business out there, but he's living, if he could go back to Jamaica right now, he'd be fine. He'll be all right as it relates to food. So it's in abundance over there, right? That's what he's trying to say. I'm not saying he'll be all right, because he would not be all right without me, okay? But he'll be all right because he listen, he's good. And here's the biggest thing. I went there, I was served food. I was served, y'all didn't hear me. Me in a first world country, going back to a served food. Not only was I served food, but it was in abundance. Okay, I had to be like, can I have some more? Served again. Sunday dinner, served again. You are getting food there. So in America, you guys hold food way too high. I'm not a part of that crew no more. I'm not a part of that crew that hold food to a high standard. When I eat, I say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for blessing this food. In Jesus' name, amen. But literally, people will get up, get dressed just so they can have a photo op for Instagram and say that they linking and drinking and living their best life. If you cannot afford it, don't go. Cut that friend off if they pressuring you. And honestly, even if they say I'm going to pay, sometimes you got to say no. Y'all, sometimes you got to tell your friends absolutely no. No, 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 no. Y'all gonna be sick of me singing. No, no, no. I'm too broke to go to dinner. I'm too broke to go to dinner right now. That's why this internet, it could get tricky, because people be lying, and the girls out here be lying too. You over here mad because somebody went out to dinner. What's your baby want to take me out to dinner? Hey, yo. You're mad because a girl is out here getting wined and dined. You don't know what she did for that meal. And even if she worked hard for it, let's not hate on anybody, because you actually don't know their lifestyle or how they were brought up. That's my point. Saying no in your 20s will save you, especially relating to evaluation. You're going to have to say no a lot more than you say yes for your peace of mind. Saying no will save you, especially when it comes down to your friends, because keep in mind, you guys are not joined at the hip. Your friend is having their life and you're having yours. And say you're not in that place of abundance and wealth right now, and your friend keeps offering to pay. All right, you go 1 week, they're gonna pay. You go next week, they pay. You go next week, they pay. Now you're gonna feel obligated to say a yes that you don't want to say. Come on, poetry. Saying a yes that you don't want to say. And that's simply because now your friend has a little ticket to say, like, well, girl, I bought. And you know, you don't really want people talking about you like, oh, she ain't never got no money, I'm always paying for her. Like, girl, trust me, you be sitting here thinking that people not talking about you, but they really be talking about you in a low. The help. That's what I'm saying. You want to live, and that brings me to say, like, you taking control of your life, aiming for stability, saying no, cutting off your friends, evaluating where you are. You're going to live a more balanced life. How are you going to live a more balanced life? Because now you're in control. Now you have control over your life. You have control over your yeses, and you have control over your no. Now you're going to feel like, hey, I'm actually not all over the place. I'm actually taking my voice back. I'm like, I had this thing where I have friends. I don't mean to put them on blast, but let me give y'all an example. I was that friend that was there for everybody. I said this before in my YouTube videos. I was cash apping and asking for cash apps too. Let me not sit here like I wasn't asking for cash apps too. But now we've built a relationship. So I was cash apping, they was cash apping me back, da 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 da, yada yada yada. But then it became a point where I was the main cash apper. Call me Bank of Sharerica, because that's what it was. Bank of Sharerica. I was just like out here doing my thing. I remember, I could tell this story now because, listen, stories help and stories heal. I remember one of my friends had asked me for money. Well, at the time, they my friend no more. Ooh, yikes. And you could probably see why. They asked me for money for an interview, y'all. For an interview for their job to get on the train. Are you listening? Open up your ears. Open up your ears. They asked me for money for an interview for a job. Now they got the job and didn't update me. Now, you might say, well, why would you feel obligated to be updated? No, because now you guys are not my friends. You guys take me for a bank and a joke. All right? You take me for a bank and a joke. I didn't even hear that the person got the job. And it was a real good job, too. It was not like McDonald's or anything. It was like a career job. Like you're in your career job. You know what I'm saying? So now you feel like you up and it's stuck and you can't talk to me? Listen, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes say no. Sometimes oh, wow. I said he. Maybe it was a she or it. I don't know. Maybe the person's blessing was in them walking to the job interview. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? How bad? Maybe I was stopping them from having a testimony. Maybe I was stopping them from walking that walk because you were supposed to walk and I done took you out your misery because you didn't tell me that you got the job. Now, y'all, I got played. I'm openly admitting to getting played. There was another time somebody asked me for money because they were struggling to get something from school. And I gave them the money and then they went out to eat. Big violation. Ain't nothing worse than you bending over backwards. First of all, you don't got money, but you're bending over backwards for people. Ain't they out? What's up, baby? Take me out to dinner on your money, on your last. That hurt me to the core, and that let me know Bank of Shamerica is closed. We ain't open no more. People was asking me. I said, bro, I don't got it. I don't got it. My name is Bennett and I ain't in it. I don't got it. They must have thought something went wrong. And they was like, oh, can you go? And people try to get me like, because I'm so emotional and helpful. I was like, they be like, oh, can you call me an Uber from here to here? And I'm like, okay, all right, send me da. And this is me as a person just walking in Bank of Shamerica. Listen. And guys, let me get it on you. I am not a mean person. I will literally give somebody the clothes off my back. Well, probably not down to the panty and bra, but I will give somebody some, like if they're in need, like we'll split it down the middle. And but I was working at Blink. Like we both working $15 an hour jobs. You know what I'm saying? We both working the same type of money. And how how I'm giving you money. And get this, get this. They were in better situations than me. All right, now we really gonna end the podcast because they were in better situations than me. You remember what I told you about in the beginning? How person A has this and you don't? So why am I now being the sole provider? Bank of Shamerica. Why? Why me? And I think sometimes people play on your niceness, how emotional you are. They play on so many things. And so that's where you have to take control of your life and shut the bank down. Now, you may not be as nice as me and give money out. But you may be giving your time out. That friend that's calling you and she's gossiping and she's talking and you're like, why can't I get anything done? It's because she's wasting your time. And so you have no control over that life. The moment that you allow people and their petty drama and whatever they got going on, or they're going out to eat and they're turning up or whatever, they don't even got to be turning up or whatever they're doing. When you allow it to affect you and your schedule, you are losing control. And so we have to get a grip on that. That's why I'm a firm believer of no, 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 no. All right, guys. Now let's fast forward. I was Bank of Shamerica. This is while she was still open. Let me tell you why she closed down. The stock market crashed, and sis had somebody come in and buy out Bank of Shamerica. And it was my then boyfriend, now husband. And he looked at me and said, why you always sending out money? Like, he's not mean either. He just make me think. That's what I'm telling you. So you got to have somebody in your corner that make you think. And he's like, you know, those 10, 10, 5, $5 add up. He was right next to me when I called somebody an Uber. And I regret calling that person an Uber too. I regret a lot of things, but let's save that for another podcast. But I called this person an Uber right in front of him, and he's like, why are you calling this person an Uber? And them 10 5s and 5 10s adds up. And I'm like, well, he's like, how much money you have? I was like, I have a decent savings. And mind you, what to me, what decent is like rent and stuff now. But you know, that's childish me, thinking that $1,000 is a savings. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Give me strength. But I'm sending these $10. Lo and behold, my hours at Blink started to decrease. Okay, significantly, because I had a manager named, let's call him Marcus. And Marcus was blowing mine. But Marcus was cutting my hours because I wasn't his cup of tea. Let's say that. I'll get into a story time probably. I don't know. How am I feeling today? But anyway, Marcus started cutting my hours, and I was there working like 2 hours a week, 2 days a week for like 4 hours a day. So y'all do the math. The savings went down, and lo and behold, I was through. And keep in mind, like, these same people, I couldn't ask them back for money. That's just how it is sometimes. You can't ask them back for money. Not even a $5. You cannot ask them back for anything. So that's why I say it's important for you to say no. And if you have to have a HE double hockey stick to it, then that's fine too. Whatever works for you, as long as you tell yourself no. And sometimes you got to prep yourself up, like, this person, they're coming to me, I have to have my answer ready before they come, because sometimes these New York people catch you like a crackhead. You know, like, oh, you got money, and now you're like, oh, no. Sometimes you got to get it in you to say, I'm not giving this person nothing if it's the last thing I do. I'm 25 now, y'all, and I wish that I said a lot more no's back then. No's all across the board, not to just friends, no's to family, No's to church. I'll get into that in another probably story time. Y'all hold me accountable to this because I got a lot of stories. Okay, I got mad stories. No to church, no to families, no to friends, no to anybody who is draining me, and a no to Marcus. And he lucky. I use my I quit and then I use my PTO. But see, I gotta give y'all the story time. But I wish that I said more no's all across the board because honestly, some people didn't deserve my time. And I believe that you should never allow someone to take you outside of your house if you didn't plan for it at least a week or two in advance. I used to be getting called. If you watch my YouTube video about the pastor calling me down to the church, you know that's the life I was living. Reckless, making people call me out my good up house to go down to a church for a fake prophecy. Let me not wild out. I guess it was a false prophecy. I'm correcting myself. It was just not his day. See what I did there? I didn't violate. But people calling me out my house, hey, come with me up Church Avenue. Well, Carrot called me, Carrot, my husband, but I'm gonna just say Carrot. Now you know his name, Carrot. Okay, he calls me, walk foot, dirty foot on Pitkin, just walking, and that's the truth. Some days he asks me what I'm doing. Oh, I'm on Pitkin, and I'm walking to McDonald's. What? Is that what I do with my time? Walk to McDonald's on Pitkin, get in the Blackfoot bottom. I'm walking and just walking with no purpose or nothing. And let me keep it a stack with you. While I was sitting there, not sitting, while I was standing there walking, these people were in school getting their life together. I was not. So they're walking, they're going to get a degree. I'm walking and I'm just walking. That's why I said evaluate where you are and it will save you a lot of time. Had I been studying my skill from that point on while they were in school and studying my skill, I would have just been better off. I mean, I still would have been in school right now, but I would have been better off if I just focused on a skill. And that's why I'm telling you, don't follow behind people who are doing it. And you can only rock with them if they are adding substance to your life. And I'm not talking about substance as in 5 10 10 cash apps. That's not substance. I'm talking about real substance. Like they are giving you tips, they're giving you ideas, they're telling you how to progress and move forward. And so even till this day, I'm still saying no. I'm still letting people know I don't got the time. And you should do that too. I'm 25. If you're 18, 19, even if you're 30, learn how to say no. Learn your time is valuable. You are a valuable person. You are valuable. Do I need to spell it out? So you can allow everybody to have access to you. All right. So to close, a moment of transparency, like in reality, when I started to sit down and realize the cards that I was dealt, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like I was literally sitting there like, it's not fair. I was the person crying out to God for a miracle and confused as to why I never was able to receive it. And that's partially because of my environment. And I remember someone had said it. I don't know who said it. But they told me that you should, in order for you to move forward, you have to change your environment. And in my head, I'm like, what does that even mean? But it's very much true. But beyond that, I sat there and I evaluated my cards. I evaluated even some of the cards that my friends had. And I was like, wait, like it's almost not fair, but it's kind of like I have to be self-aware of what is happening in my life. And so, honestly, I had withdrawals. I was like, did I make the right decision from moving or leaving people alone and not texting back or giving people a walk and saying no and not allowing people to come back in my space? Like, I was like, it's so hard because I had great times with these people. And we spent a lot of time laughing and having fun. And so I was like, wow, this is real tough. Like I felt like I was growing up too fast in a way. Like I had to take life more seriously because I wasn't dealt easy cards, I would say. So I had to take life a little bit more seriously than someone who was my age and had their family around and the big family, cousins, brothers, sisters, you know what I said in the beginning. So I felt like I really was missing out. And that's how you're going to feel, honestly. If you're someone like me who has gotten crazy cards, you're going to feel like you've made the wrong decision. But in the end, when you look back, when you 2, 3 years down the line and you realize that you focused on yourself and you said no and you turned away party, I'm telling you, I literally saw the people that I was close with before hanging out and going places, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could go. Like, I literally even cried, like, oh my God, I want to go. But I really had to find it in myself to say, like, that is behind me. I'm no longer allowing people who have better cards than me dictate the trajectory of my life. Like, I have to be in control of that and be aware of the cards that were given to me. In this episode, the homework is really simple. It's, what's your story? What is your story? What are the cards that you were dealt? Was it a father not being there, a mother not being there? Were you taken advantage of as a child? Did you lose your voice in some way? Is it a money struggle for you? Is it a emotional struggle for you? When you start asking yourself, what's my story? You then can take control over the cards that you were dealt. Now you can be behind the table and say, hey, this is a joker, and this is a king, and this is an ace, and these are the cards that I have. Or this is a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And that's all I got. So you have to understand and really ask yourself, what is my story? The moment you do that, I promise you, I can almost guarantee you that you will change the way you look at your life. You will say, like, even though I have to work a little bit harder, and let me use me as a testimony, guys, because honestly, I although I had a crazy and rough start, look at where I'm at right now. 3 years of grinding and focus and holding my head down brought me this far. And I'm not even close to where I want to be. I'm not even close to where I see myself. But it's a step further than where I would have been had I been hanging out with those people who had better cards. And so that is what I want to leave with you today. Stay true to who you are. Understand that it's not a matter of what's fair and what's not. God says in the Bible, it says the rain falls on the just and the unjust, which means that we will all have an opportunity at life. We will all have a chance to make it out no matter what our situations are. So yes, that person may be evil, but they have good things. They have a nice car. They have good weave. You know what I'm saying? I'm wearing some cheap from Amazon. And that's my story right now. And I'm okay with that. Okay? Because it ain't looking bad, right? So you might look at somebody else and say, oh, they got a car, they got this and that. And you might be walking right now. And that's probably because you don't know about credit and nobody ever taught you. What can you do? Are you going to go back in the past? One thing Pastor Heston said, which I'm really grateful for my pastors, he said, you cannot give advice from the past. So you're looking back and saying, like, hey, I should have did this, then a third. It's nothing wrong with an evaluation, but try not to give yourself advice from that place because you can't go back there. What you can do right now is take control of your life, try your best to move forward, and just work your story. So once again, guys, I just want to thank you for tuning into the Surviving Your 20s podcast. I'm super happy that I showed up today because I know that someone is going to be blessed by this. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you're on listening to the audio only, make sure that you follow my Instagram at Surviving 2.0 and email me a story, your story. I want to hear your story. Email me your story at surviving20spod@gmail.com. So that's surviving20spod@gmail.com. Thank you once again. I love you guys. Later.
Wow, I'm super excited that you decided to stay until the end, girl. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Surviving 2.0. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything you want to get off your chest, girl, send me an email, surviving20spod@gmail.com. I'll see you next week. All right, make sure you do your homework. Toodles.